Hello, I'm Karina Robinson. I'm on the Global Advisory Board of the Global Female Leaders, and we're here in Berlin for the 5th edition, and we're here with Emily Penn. Now, Emily is an amazing woman who studied architecture, I believe, at Cambridge and has now turned into an environmental campaigner. Incredibly effective. And just before we get into the environment, tell me a bit about why this has also turned into a very strong female movement.
So I'd been working on plastics for about 5 years and finding them in the ocean, in the fish, and decided to test my blood to see if maybe I had some of this chemical pollution also inside me. And it turned out I did. I had 29 of 35 toxic chemicals that we tested for. But most of these chemicals, they particularly impact women because they are endocrine disruptors. They mimic our hormones. And so I thought, why not tackle this women-centered issue with an amazing team of women? And so we set up these voyages to sail around the world studying plastic and toxic pollution with incredible women from different nationalities and with different skill sets.
Now, when you did your first voyage, you were in search of these huge garbage heaps of plastic. But, when you were telling us about the first voyage, you were slightly let down by, at one point, not even finding a big one. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so we've been measuring that 8 million tons of plastic every year are leaving land, going into the ocean. So when we got into these accumulation zones, we were expecting to find it all. But there was actually very little there because most of it is breaking down into tiny fragments and these microplastics. So from the wind and the waves and the sun breaks into these little pieces. So in fact, the plastic was there. It was just too small to see until we used a net. And what we realise now is that actually it's also sinking. So hence we're not seeing it as well. So very hard to measure and much harder to clean up once it gets out there.
We're talking about plastic that has already been turned into rubbish. But what about all of us here at this summit? What should we be doing to create less plastic and use less plastic?
Yeah, so as you're right to say, it really starts with us here on land. If we can stop that plastic getting into the ocean, that's the biggest opportunity right now. So all of our own individual actions, our own plastic consumption, especially single-use plastic, the things that we use once and then throw away. That's the stuff that we want to avoid. Plastic bags, plastic bottles, drinking straws, coffee cups, all of those sorts of things. And then beyond that, we can all think about what bigger influence we might be able to make on this issue, because we all have an area of expertise, or what I like to call our superpowers. The things that we're brilliant at, and whether you are into politics, or you're a teacher, or you're a designer, or a great communicator, there's a different opportunity for all of us to really create change on the issue.
It is true that now the communication part is so big, because I think of you and your incredible voyage, and I also think of David Attenborough, and the effect it's had is incredible, especially, dare I say it, 80, 90-year-old man. So in terms of companies, what are companies doing? Who are the best companies looking at tech solutions to all of this?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways companies are going, and one is around innovating materials. So looking at how you can use waste material that's already in the environment again. So companies like Adidas are doing a great job at that. They're taking plastic out the ocean and they're turning it into trainers. And then other companies are looking for completely new materials, so potentially completely biodegradable materials and new systems. So I've been working with Sky, think of them as a media company, but they're doing a huge amount behind the scenes on innovation of product design to solve the problem too.
What is your latest project?
So, well, the next project coming up is X Expedition round the world. We are scaling up what we've been doing, and we'll be taking 300 women to sea, 10 at a time, over the next 2 years, to see this problem firsthand so they can each work out what role they can play in solving it when they get back on land.
That is what we call scaling up. And from the Global Female Leaders Summit, thank you very much to Emily Penn for inspiring us all, and I'm sure there'll be lots of actions coming out of this summit.